All right, so we were talking about the A12 cars, the 440 6-barrel stuff, Super B Roadrunner, and he mentions he has one. It's just not here.
So I do. So probably 10 years ago, maybe even a little bit longer, my dad and I were talking, and his dream car has always been a 69 A12 Super B 4-speed car, of course, you know. And so we did some searching, and we found one. It was up north of New York City, and so loaded up the trailer and drove up there and picked it up and did all the research on it. All the documentation looked really good, and brought it home. And over the next probably 6 years, I restored it in my 20 by 20 garage, not this garage, my previous garage. And I've actually got some photos I can show you. Nice car and I put this book together to kind of showcase the restoration. If anybody's familiar with the Cars and Barns website, it was actually, it's still on the website, but these two A12s were found in a barn in Wisconsin. And I remember seeing these photos years ago and thinking how cool that was. Little did I know that's the A12 that I would end up purchasing.
And those are both real A12 cars?
Yes, yeah. So this is my A12, mine, my dad's, whatever you want to call it. Our A12, let's call it that.
One is a needle in a haystack, and there were two.
Yep. And good build sheet and fender tag, all the goodies. This is when we picked it up. And
now that fender tag, that looked like a 68 fender tag.
So,
oh no, well, yeah, it looked similar with the spaces, but no, I can see it's got the 69 type on it.
Yep. So this has a scheduled production date of April 26th, but this car wasn't built until probably early May, because by kind of decoding all the date codes on the car, it was a later build car. So, but there's typically not much on the fender tags, because you basically choose your color. You want a 4-speed or an automatic. That's about it. So, and manual 6-pack right on the build sheet, which is kind of cool.
Wow.
So I have to show everybody this picture, because that is what it looked like at its lowest level. Had to do a lot of rust repair. The Wisconsin salt was not good to it, but I was able to get it together, and I did all the work in my garage. I did all the block sanding. I sprayed it in my garage. I cut it in, obviously, and taped it off, sprayed it, and then cut and buff, and it turned out real well. Turned out very nice, as a matter of fact. And actually last year at the Chrysler Nationals at Carlisle, I drove this car 6 hours up to Carlisle, put the cooler and stuff in the trunk, and headed north with 410 gears.
Are you planning to go to Carlisle this year?
I'm probably going to drive that to Carlisle, believe it or not. Real quick, we're going to look at this. So we talked about the Challenger that I'm restoring. This is actually the car. And this was taken in 1970. It was driven by Lee Cameron out of Sacramento, California, sponsored by the dealership Swift Dodge. You can still see the B5 blue on the back. And then they changed the paint job in 71, made it a little more fancy.
A little more 70s.
Yeah. And then over the years, I've just started to gather photographs of it, and it was actually featured in a couple of magazines back in the day, which is kind of cool. And then it ended up going to Dick Landy Industries in California, and a fella from Honolulu bought it. So Dick Landy did a bunch of work to it.
Oh, so
these are the receipts from while it was at Dick Landy's shop. And I think
those are not today's prices.
No. And I think there was one final invoice here, and it was, how much was it? $8,622, and this was in 1977. And to put that much money into a used car, that was a lot of money, at least in my opinion, in 1977. And so there it is. That's how I found it. Hemi still sitting there, heads off of it. And over the years, I have just slowly restored it.
Is that the original block?
It was not.
Okay.
But that is a date-coded 1970 block, no VIN stamped on it.
Okay.
So, which is kind of cool.
Like a warranty
as well.
block.
Yep. And you can still see some of the paint coming through. Let's see. Surprisingly, a large portion of the build sheet was still in the car. And what is also cool is that all the important stuff, the VIN, the sequence number, the vehicle order number, all the options, special handling car. I'm pretty sure all the Hemis had special handling car on the bottom, so which is kind of cool. And but I think that's about it. But this book I had for several years, and I did a lot of traveling for my job, and I was actually on the Cape May Luz ferry one afternoon, and I was just thumbing through this book, and I came across this picture, and I said, "That's my Challenger when it was at Dick Landy's shop."
That's before all the work.
That's while they were doing the work, I think, or right after they finished. And
oh, God, they didn't do the paint then.
They did. I don't know who did the paint, but you see, it doesn't have any front side marker lights there. And this car, when I bought it, had fiberglass fenders on it that didn't have and it had the same dark paint job. And so I started to do a little digging. So I actually got in touch with Dick Landy's son, and he actually remembers working on that car, this car. And so I was able to kind of tie it all together.
Right. I didn't think so. So he got it in 77.
Correct.
After its original tour of duty from the early 70s. That's right. So that makes sense.
Yes.
Huh.
Yep. So this car, this Challenger, has been through a lot of iterations, and it will not go back 100% stock. It will probably not go back full race car trim, but it'll be somewhere in the middle. Maybe 70 street machine. It will have aluminum slots all the way around. It will have headers. It will have...
Could have those aluminum slots.
Yeah, it might. So it'll be cool. I promise you that.
So some trivia. Tell us about the alternators.
So the alternators. So I needed to build some bookends for my books, and I wanted something cool. And I just happened to have two factory original. Actually, I've got a couple more Hemi alternators, and you can always tell a Hemi alternator because it's got the large dual groove pulley, but not all large dual groove pulleys are Hemi pulleys. Some are, heavy duty applications, but these, and you can see where I've cleaned some of the numbers off a little bit to get the numbers off the pulleys, but these are factory original Hemi alternators, and eventually I'll pick out whichever one works out best for the Challenger, and I will restore it, and it'll go on that car.
That is hardcore.
So,
love it.
Yeah.
It's been a very fun tour, and thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
It's been a blast.
Yep.
Thank you.
I never get tired of talking about 426 Hemis.
I don't either.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Yep, thank you.